Today, the two teams face off for the first time in 2012, and it comes your way live on Comcast Sportsnet California. Next.
Fans in Stockton haven't had a whole lot to cheer about this season. It's been a rare down campaign for the Pacific Tigers, but all that could go away with an upset victory tonight over the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, who come into tonight's contest 10-7 and with minds of a #1 seed in the Big West Tournament. Welcome inside the Alex Spano Center, everybody. Dave Benz alongside former Pacific head coach Stan Morrison and also former UCSB athletic director Stan Morrison. So you're wearing a couple of hats there tonight. You also know both the coaches of these teams real well, a couple of coaches who've been on the bench a real long time.
Yes, they have. They're very best friends, except for when the ball goes up to start the game. Then the friendship goes out the window for the next 40 minutes. The fact remains, I did put in a lot of time on this campus. Unfortunately, we did not get to play here. We played downtown in a converted opera house.
Yeah, and you use that to your advantage. We'll get into that on the broadcast tonight. Let's talk a little bit about the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos, because as I mentioned, they still have hopes of claiming the #1 seed in the Big West. That'll be some tough sledding. But boy, with a player like Orlando Johnson, anything is possible.
Orlando Johnson is generally acknowledged as perhaps the best player in the conference. There are a couple of guys at Long Beach State that would contest that, but we see the outside shot there, then the ability to take it to the basket, throw it down. He's a very powerful 6'6" basketball player who has been two-time MBB.
Yeah, and he's a legit NBA prospect. And you know what? How about the sleeper on this team, Jaime Serna? Boy, he's got some fantastic numbers, including 9 of 10 shooting last time out against UC Davis.
And that's great shooting against Davis. But let me say this. He is one of the most clever passers for a big man inside. And the stat that just gets you so much, 3 out of every 4 times his team comes down and shoots the ball, they score because he's on the court.
Meantime, as for Bob Thomason's team, Pacific in a rebuilding mode, no question about that. They lost most of their team from last year. Take a look at the new players that Bob Thomason has had to insert. He's only have 2 players back from last year's squad, 39 total points. That's just 2% of his offense. It's nothing but confounding for him to try and figure out the right mixture of players to get them to work together.
It's an incredible challenge for any coach, but he's making it happen. They have turned the corner. They're playing a lot better right now. This game's going to be much closer than a lot of people think. And, of course, the fact that they're playing here on the campus at UOP is a big, big factor in the outcome of this game.
Last year's game came down to a 3-pointer at the buzzer as Pacific handed the Gauchos a loss. Will tonight's be also as exciting? Stick around. We got the coverage coming your way right here next. Welcome back to Stockton. Today, the Raiders will officially welcome their new head coach, Dennis Allen, at a press conference on Monday, and you can see it live beginning at noon. See and hear the new head man's plans and goals for the Silver and Black as the Dennis Allen era in Oakland officially begins. That's press conference live Monday at noon right here on Comcast Sportsnet California. Stanley, take a look at both these teams coming in on a little bit of a high note. Pacific, second straight win, 61-51 over Cal Poly on Thursday, and UC Santa Barbara, a much-needed blowout win at Davis.
Very good win for them. Both teams shoot almost the same. UC Santa Barbara shoots 35% from three-point range. Here's the baseline out of bounds.
And they bring in Greg Samoji, the big 7'3" center, to try and block the inbounds, but Harris able to get it in, no problem. McLeod will control.
Trust me, he has profound influence inside, either blocking shots or certainly influencing shots.
McLeod for 3, that rattles out no good, and ball still loose. Nunley comes out of there with it, and here come the Gauchos.
UOP has not shot anything but a 3.
A couple of substitutions. Nate Garth is in the game along with Samoji for UC Santa Barbara, and Ross Rivera has checked in for Pacific. There's Samoji, the big 7'3" guy. He can actually shoot it from out there. That one no good. And here comes Pacific looking to knot this thing back up.
It's not a good idea usually to shoot the ball the first time you touch it, but he is an excellent perimeter shooter, even from three-point range.
There's a little ball fake and then knocked out of bounds. We'll keep it on this end. And, you know, talking to Bob Williams before the game, he said Samoji Samoji actually has pretty good range. The 7'3" guy out of Budapest, Hungary. He's got a 7'9" wingspan. He said he'd let him shoot more, but people would probably think he was crazy if he had him shoot three-pointers.
That's right. On that penetration last time, Alan Williams came over and gave great help for Santa Barbara, getting the ball jarred out of bounds.
Here's Duran, and Beatty is in the game now for Pacific as well.
You know, notice this game is 6 minutes old, and we have not shot a free throw.
Callan Beatty, a little pull-up. That's too strong. Orlando Johnson comes down with the rebound, and Johnson, he can get the glass as well as the assists and the points. He does everything for the Gauchos.
He's a very complete player, but he is more a two-guard than he is a point. But he can certainly play on the perimeter very comfortably.
And we got a travel call there on UC Santa Barbara, so the turnover going against the Gauchos. That'll be their first turnover of the game, and first turnover of the game for either team. And here's some more details on Greg Samoji. This kid, really a player that would be a project for an NBA team, but when you're 7'3", you're certainly going to attract some interest.
And he's second in career block shots, as we can see, trailing a player that was a terrific player when I was the director of athletics, Eric MacArthur. Nice penetration.
Beatty working around. Rivera loses the handle, and here comes UCSB. Kyle Boswell in the game there. We'll have the basketball now back to Boswell. Drive baseline and contact and put it in. So Boswell off the bench. He gives a little spark, and the Gauchos with their largest lead of the game.
I thought that was a very good no whistle with that body contact below.
Rivera on the baseline, and he gets trapped there, gets it back out to McLeod. Way downtown try, and that's off the iron for Duran. A little strong, and the Gauchos come out with the basketball, looking to move it.
Long shots, long rebounds. The guards have got to rebound the long shot.
Garth going to work. Garth off the glass, and no good, but Alan Williams in there for the board. That's no good. Well, there's going to be your answer. For the first time tonight, we're going to have a free throw stand.
Finally. Here's the baseline drive. Body contact, but good verticality by the defender outside of the arc. Excellent no call. And this is a pretty young crew. I've been around a long time. I don't know any of these officials, but I thought that was a terrific no call.
So Williams at the free throw line to shoot a pair, and he is shooting just 54% there this season. He gets the first one to go. And as I mentioned, his 19th birthday, Bob Williams said to him, since it's your 19th birthday, you're going to give me 19 boards tonight. And he said, yes, coach.
Well, that's good. Yes, sir. He had his career high last game at Davis, 14 points. But try this. He has 20 block shots in the last 7 conference games.
Yeah, he's got 26 on the season, 2 rebounds so far tonight for Alan Williams, and Bob Williams just excited about the potential of this kid. Tigers, no field goals. You see it there since 1748, so 5 minutes plus is the drought for the Tigers after a hot start from three-point range. Beatty puts it on the floor. D'Souza has checked into the game for the first time, handling the basketball right now. Beatty in traffic, up over Serna, and ends that drought. Beatty.
That's a difficult shot when you have a 7'3" man at your side. I'm surprised that Samoji didn't get a piece of that ball.
Samoji's been rebounding it well of late, too. 26 rebounds over the last 4 games. That's 60 minutes of game time. Meantime, Boswell trying for the 3. Had some contact, no whistle, ball out of bounds, and they're going to keep it with UC Santa Barbara.
Yes, and number 2 for he could have had a foul that time, Colin Beatty. He could have fouled because he went over Samoji's back to slap it out of bounds.
And now we got a timeout on the floor. We're taking a break as well. It's UC Santa Barbara up 4 in Stockton. And welcome back to Stockton. Pacific with a 4-point deficit against UC Santa Barbara. And this is certainly a down year for the Pacific Tigers, who are used to a lot of success under Bob Thomason. 18 straight seasons without a losing season, Stan. And you see the accolades on your screen. That 18-year run could be in danger this season.
It really could. He played for one of the toughest, best coaches anybody has seen in a long, long time when he played for Dick Edwards. Interestingly, I followed Dick here, and I was the next coach, and it was the second time, because when Dick left El Camino High School in Sacramento and came to be the head coach here, I followed him.
By the way, I asked Bob Williams about the relationship with Bob Thomas, and he said, you know, Bob's been so good for so long that the rest of the coaches in this league, we're happy to kick him when he's down because it doesn't happen very often.
Well, they better do it quickly because his team is getting better.
Yeah, these JUCO transfers really starting to gel a little bit, as you can see it with the 2-game win streak. They played great a couple weeks ago against Long Beach State at Long Beach State, had them on the ropes. In the meantime, the Gauchos with a miss. So here comes Pacific with a chance to try and cut into this deficit. De Sousa picks up the dribble and will work it over to Durant.
UOP is countering with their own big man, number 41, Rundle Mouget.
Mouget doesn't play a whole lot of minutes, but definitely going to try and work against Samoji, and he missed there. Durant able to get his own rebound, though, and a fresh shot clock for the Tigers. They'll reset the offense.
That's the first time Rundle's had to look up at anybody probably in his whole career.
We don't know officially if Samoji's the tallest player ever in the Big West Conference, but he's got to be close. De Sousa, top of the key, and he'll get it to rattle in.
He used every bit of that rim and the backboard to get that three, but he'll take it gladly as we have a one-point game with the Gauchos on top.
So here's Garth with the basketball. They'll work it over, three-point try, and that is on the money for James Nunley. His first points, and his minutes have been down the last couple games.
Yeah, he's only averaged 21 points a game each of the last 4 games, and he's 15 points now away from reaching the 1,500-point plateau.
De Sousa pulls up, and, well, he got a roll on one and wanted a foul call there, but doesn't get it. So the basketball will be going back to UC Santa Barbara.
He's begging for the, I didn't see the contact on the replay there, but there's the previous basket where he rattled it in.
Well, we got a substitution in for Pacific. Spencer Llewellyn checks in for the first time tonight. Llewellyn's minutes have been increasing of late. Didn't play much early, but he's been getting some more minutes the last few games for Bob Thompson. Samoji, some contact inside, and going to be a whistle inside on Mouget. By the way, speaking of 7'3", you know, how about 7'8", Paul Sturgis, by far the tallest basketball player in college basketball history.
Size 21 shoe, 300-plus pounds. They could run a one-man zone with him.
Born in England and now playing for, I don't know if he actually is still playing, but was playing for the Harlem Globetrotters. I'm told he is. Tallest player to ever play for him. And there, by the way, Jaime Cerna getting some points, so UCSB up by 6 now.
He's very selective in his shooting. He's a superb passer. What a nice combination.
Beatty the three, but nice rebound inside, and Travis Fulton will kick it back out, and the Tigers will reset the offense.
Typically, UOP has had outstanding outside shooting teams, and I don't see anyone looking over their shoulder at the bench as they're shooting from these deep perimeter positions.
Llewellyn back to De Sousa.
Good ball movement.
Again, no hurry for the Tigers. They want to get a good shot. And we got some contact down low, and they say he stepped on the baseline, I believe. So
yeah.
Maybe a turnover against Pacific. That's about the last thing they need. You get the sense that this is a point of the game where Pacific really is going to need to kind of weather the storm, because they could find themselves down big in a hurry here if they're not careful.
Absolutely. I could not agree with you more. When you have people like Nunley and Orlando Johnson out there, they're going to score relatively consistently. Here comes someone who has started a few times. Keegan Hornbuckle, 6'7", 205-pounder, transferred from the University of Colorado. He's from Westlake, California, down in Southern California. And he's had 18 steals, 12 in the 7 Big West Conference games. So let's watch him at the defensive end as well. Here he
gets those steals in limited minutes. So that's what's even more impressive. Nunley almost lost the basketball, speaking of steals. Orlando Johnson back in the game, kicks it over to Nunley, and off the iron, no good. Rebound comes down to Pacific, and the Tigers are off and running. De Sousa in a hurry off the glass. Rebound to Hornbuckle.
I really think that was an ill-advised shot. There were too many big trees in there. He couldn't even see the rim when he released the ball.
UOP shooting just 4 of 16 from the field. Meantime, we've got a offensive foul call down low. And they're going to whistle that one on Allen Williams. So wipe off that basket. Allen Williams A big presence down low, a little bit too big on that play.
The birthday boy, 6'7", 240-pound freshman, and coach thinks he's the best rebounder he's coached.
Yeah, that is an amazing statement from a guy who's coached almost 700 wins at all the levels combined, and not liking that call. Speaking of offensive fouls, UCSB, we showed it at the top of the show, the dunk that Orlando Johnson had at Long Beach State. That was actually an offensive foul over Casper Ware, and they wiped off the basket. And Bob Williams told me that was a big turning point in that game. He doesn't like the psyche of his team right now, Stan. Says that they really don't have a lot of grit. Meantime, three-pointer for Trevin Harris. He scores for the first time tonight, and it's back to a one-possession game. He's a 46% three-point shooter. He's got to look for his shot. That was a beautiful release, and his teammates found him. A wide open Nunley on the right side of that zone, but he can't cash in. Rivera comes down with the rebound. Here come the Tigers. Chance to tie it with a three or cut it to one with a deuce. Llewellyn will go for the tie, and no good. That was a flat-footed set shot from the three-point range. I haven't seen one of those in a long time. I don't know how many more of those are going to keep him in the game for too long. Hornbuckle. Johnson working against Llewellyn. Back to Hornbuckle. That's a long three, and that draws iron. We got contact down low. And going to be offensive foul on UC Santa Barbara. If that's the second on Williams, that's going to be trouble for the big man. Stay with us. We have more from Stockton after. Back at Stockton, we got a three-point game. And Stan, that's appropriate because so far these teams have combined to shoot 24 threes. Well, and one team's made 3. That would be Santa Barbara. And the other team, Pacific, has made 4. So they're not setting the world on fire, but that's the tenor of the game. Here we go from perimeter, deep, off the glass and in. Yeah, they have not been afraid to pull the trigger from downtown, either one of these teams, and we'll see if either one of them gets hot. It might be the team that gets hot is going to be the team that wins this game. Yeah, a team that strings 2 or 3 together might have something big going and get themselves in a position to go in to the locker room at halftime with a nice lead. We have a low-scoring game. We have 6:59 to go, 14-17, Santa Barbara on top. And you would think that's exactly what Bob Thomason wants, maybe not so much what Bob Williams wants. Absolutely, and yet Thomason will have his team push the ball up court hard on rebounds in case they can sneak in to get the layup, because it's going to be difficult for this team to get to the rim. So there's McLeod with the basketball as they set the offense in the half-court set. A lot of movement for the Tigers. McLeod picked up his dribble. It is a real matchup zone. And look down in the paint. I mean, they have guards for UCSB following UOP cutters through. McLeod and wiped that one off. The foul offensive. And that is going to be going back over to UCSB. That was very difficult for the Pacific players to understand what kind of defense they were playing against. It was an extreme matchup. We'll check it out the next time, but I think UOP may want to run some man offense. It took a second that foul officially on Khalil Kelly. He was waiting on the call because I was kind of blocked out on that one. Johnson inside to Nunley, over to TJ Taylor. Just 5'9", but the kid can play. So can Johnson. 3. Wow, that was set up by some crisp passing there, Stan. Excellent passing, but more importantly, the X factor, Orlando Johnson. Here's this. Let's take a look. It looks like a 1-2-2 zone defense. An extreme matchup, as you can see. Strong pressure on the passer. Inside to Rivera, off glass, no good. Rebound, knocked out of bounds. Last touch by a Gaucho, and they will hang on to it here on this end. It ricocheted off of Cerna that time out of bounds, and so UOP will set up their baseline out of bounds. Orlando Johnson leading all scorers in this game. 8 points so far tonight. 6 of them coming from three-point range. TJ Taylor is really animated out there, fighting over the top of screens, taking the ball man-to-man very aggressively. That foul's going to be on Orlando Johnson. That'll be his first. And here's the ball movement by Santa Barbara.
Reversal of the ball, look inside, take the ball back to the post, looking low, and then to the weak side for the possible layup, and a quick reversal for Johnson to get the three. That's outstanding ball movement against any defense.
Yeah, and Lorenzo McLeod just couldn't get back. Left a wide open shot there for Orlando Johnson. So 6-point game. Pacific looking to try and close a little tighter here. Harris for three. That draws iron no good. Rebound comes down to Nunley.
You know, when you have people like Nunley and Johnson who can play more than one position and can rebound from the guard spot, that's a great bonus for any team.
Nice D there by Khalil Kelly to create the turnover, and Pacific will come back the other way. And now it's a turnover for the Tigers. Here come the Gauchos.
Yeah, it was a pretty good pass in very tight corners, and a little too crisp, I would think, on the texture of the line.
Johnson, no good. Cerner, look at that rebound with one hand, but he can't get it to go. And here come the Tigers with the ball.
He was obliged to shoot the ball or he would have traveled. So he got it up on the glass, hoping that that pass surprised the teammate.
And I think that pass surprised the teammate as well.
Yeah, you know, you've got to have some little eye contact with your teammate. And again, the quality of the ball when it arrives. Did it arrive at his belt? Did it arrive at his shoulders where he could do something with it? And he surprised him because it was just too much mustard on that pass.
Yeah, 5 turnovers now for Bob Thomason's team as they trail 20-14. UCSB's only turned it over 3 times so far in this opening half.
The teams remain true to the zone defenses.
Orlando Johnson, that's a shot he loves to take. He will take, and he will make.
Yeah, you in that zone, when he gets the ball by flashing above the free throw line, you've got to crowd him and force him to put the ball on the floor simply because you've got to get some help.
10 now in the game for Johnson, who will, by season's end, in all likelihood, be the all-time leading scorer in Gauchos history.
There's been some good ones at Santa Barbara.
It's now 111 points shy of Alex Harris's, or of surpassing Alex Harris for that spot. Cross-court pass by D'Souza. Durant for the three, and rebound comes down to Kelly. Can't get it. And UC Santa Barbara says, thank you very much. We'll go back on offense. Up 8, looking to make it double digits. Look at the little pass inside to Nunley. Orlando Johnson just does so many things so well that we're going to get a 30-second timeout called as Bob Thomason wants to talk it over. Boy, Johnson, just a player.
See, and they're on the same page. They've played so many games together, Nunley and Orlando Johnson, and a beautiful pass off the dribble. Let's take a look at it right here. Here's the fake. He's got the ball back on his heels. There he goes. 2 points. And here's the pass off the dribble to Nunley, who turns and hits the bottom of the net.
You know, he's got a chance to be the first player for the Gauchos in 20-some-odd years to lead the team in scoring, rebounding, and assists. Brian Shaw, the last player to do that at UC Santa Barbara.
And I had the pleasure of seeing Brian while I was the director of athletics at UC Santa Barbara, and he was a catalyst for everything. It became the Thunderdome down there in Santa Barbara. But let me say this right now. Orlando Johnson really has a completeness to his game and a toughness to his game that will help him at the next level.
A quick reminder, coverage of WCC basketball on Comcast Sportsnet California continues later tonight from the Hilltop. The San Diego Toreros head north to the City by the Bay to take on the San Francisco Dons, who had an impressive win against Santa Clara. Thursday night coverage begins right here after the conclusion of our game in Stockton.
Santa Barbara came out of that timeout with a half-court trap. And UOP handled it beautifully.
Nice passing inside to Harris. Can't get it to go. And there's Alan Williams again, pulling down another rebound. Look out! Nunley in front of everybody.
Oh, my.
Wow.
That looked like you, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the trap again. If he dribbles over the half-court line, very smart to pass it over the line so you don't have to pick up the dribble and be trapped.
Apparently, you've seen me on my son's 5-foot net.
Well, with that Nerf ball.
I can Nerf ball it with the best of them. There's a three the other way, and that's John the Iron Boy. UOP is just ice cold. 5 of 23 shooting from the field. They are looking for offense and not finding it. The Gauchos on a 9-0 run with an exclamation point. And welcome back to the Spano Center, everybody. We are approaching halftime. They're taking a timeout for reading here on the court, and that is always nice to see. Reminding you that you want to stick around at halftime. We'll take you back to our Sportsnet Central studios for an update. Also, Pacific head men's basketball coach Bob Thomason took some time to chat with Stan Morrison prior to the game. We'll hear from him. And, of course, we'll have highlights and stats from the first half. It's all coming your way at halftime here from Stockton. Meantime, the Stockton home team not faring so well, down double digits, 26-14. And, boy, Pacific looking for offense from anywhere they can get it. They're not finding it right now, Stan.
They're really struggling on the mid-distance shots against pressure. I think Santa Barbara's doing an excellent job defensively. They're in the straight man defense now, really pressuring the ball. And so now UOP must adjust to this new defense.
Well, Duran will get it to D'Souza. They try to get the entry pass inside and then ball out of bounds. Could have possibly been a foul on Allen Williams, but the ball had already gone out of bounds, so no whistle for him, which is good because he's playing with 2 right now.
TJ Taylor was given up about 8 inches inside, but still fronted his man. The pass over the top in an effort to get to the low post. Failed and got knocked out of bounds. Good defense by Taylor.
Yeah, we showed you what happened a week ago there. Orlando Johnson not having a great game at Long Beach State. A national TV game, nonetheless. And, boy, Bob Williams said they want to get not 1 but 2 more cracks at Long Beach State, kind of hinting that he anticipates seeing them again in the Big West Tourney. And, oh, yeah, they've beaten them 2 straight years in the Big West Tourney. So they would love to see that matchup again. You know, Orlando Johnson would love to be able to get the taste of that poor performance out of his mouth. Picked up some quick fouls in that one. That offensive foul really killed them as it was his second of the game. Meantime, Pacific trying to get the deficit back down to single digits. Beatty will draw some contact and whistle that foul on Nunley. That'll be his first of the game. And give you your updated Big West standings. And, well, there you see UC Santa Barbara 5-2 in conference, and it's not unthinkable that they could catch Long Beach State, but they're going to need some help.
Well, they will need some help to catch them. I saw the game Long Beach State at Riverside. Riverside had the ball with 2.1 seconds, down 1, and made the first, missed the second, and lost in overtime in a very, very good basketball game. Long Beach was really playing well.
3 by Beatty, no good. Rebound to Rivera, having a tough time hanging on to it. Finally does, looking for somebody to pass it to. Duran. A little head fake there, and that's going to be, is that going to be 3 free throws? Bob Williams not liking that call, looking to see, saying it was on the floor. And that's not going to be the call. It's going to be 3 free throws coming up for Marcus Duran, despite the best petitioning possible by Bob Williams.
I think they're going to look at the monitor. The replay showed that his foot was inside the line. There's the fake, and I believe his foot was inside the line. They're going to go take a look over here, but I do believe the first time I saw it from the side, I do believe his foot was inside when he drew the foul.
Yeah, they are indeed going over to the monitor to take a look at it, and we'll take a look at it with you one more time. And that is something that they can go to the monitor for. The coaches can ask, can you check whether it's a 2 or 3? So that would certainly apply to a foul situation, and clearly his foot is on the line, so it'll only be 2 free throws upcoming. And if a coach in an instance like this would ask and be incorrect, they would lose a timeout. But since this is correct, the correct call, obviously Bob Williams will not be charged a timeout.
Well, did he throw the red towel on the floor?
I did not see a red hanky come out.
Okay, just checking.
So Duran at the free throw line, and he is the best free throw shooter on the team, 81% on the season. And you can see why. It looks pretty good on that stroke there.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first trip to the line by UOP in the game with 1 minute and 3 seconds remaining. So he needs to be a good free thrower.
Well, this is only going to be the 4th free throw attempted in the entire half. A stark contrast from the game we had a week ago. What was it, 60 free throws? Stan and I had St. Mary Santa Clara. 70 free throws in that game. That was unbelievable.
Little extended defense now by UOP. Back into the zone.
Got it down to 10. They'd like to get it cut down a little bit further. Certainly single digits at the half would be a lot better than double digits.
Meanwhile, the Gauchos want to secure. Oh, there's another high-low pass. from outside to the high post.
Yeah, but Nunley can't cash in, so Pacific getting what they wanted. You got about a 4-second differential, shot clock to game clock, and, well, that didn't matter to Durant as he pulled the trigger. Beatty can't pull it down, so now Santa Barbara can play for the last shot of the half, and T.J. Taylor, recognizing that, will slow it down and walk it up.
TJ's got a lot of family from Oakland here to watch him tonight. He's playing very aggressively, giving them the kind of leadership a point guard needs to. And here we go with Taylor, Orlando Johnson, excuse me.
A nice kick to Taylor for the three, and he can't get it to go. Still time for Pacific, 4 seconds. McLeod will heave it up from way downtown. Oh!
It just wasn't straight.
Yeah,
it
had the distance. It wasn't straight. Wow, we got a 10-point game after 20 minutes in the books here in Stockton. The Gauchos 26, Pacific 16. Stay with us. Our halftime activities commence after this quick timeout. And welcome back to the Alex Spanos Arena. UC Santa Barbara enjoying a double-digit lead at the half, 26-16. Dave Benz alongside Stan Morrison. And Stan, boy, really, this was a half that belonged to the Gauchos. They pretty much controlled it from the onset.
They certainly did. UOP is struggling, and struggling mightily, and they're only shooting 19% from the floor, 22% from three-point range, and 3 of their starters did not score a point. That's very, very significant, and they've got to get the lid off early. The first 3 minutes of this second half will tell us a great deal about this ball game.
Yeah, it's a shame because they actually got out of the gate pretty well, shooting it from beyond the arc with some proficiency, and they got it started with Marcus Duran from way downtown. But, boy, UCSB really had the answers. You saw T.J. Taylor with a 3. Pacific hung around for a little while, but then UCSB said, you know what, we can also do it inside. Kyle Boswell. And then Orlando Johnson took over.
Here's some great ball movement. Of course, Orlando Johnson is the key guy on the court. Here's the reversal. The player closed out for UOP, but Johnson hits it. There's the high-low pass right into Johnson there at the high post. And here's a pass off the dribble to Nunley for 2.
Orlando Johnson, 10 points, 2 assists, 3 boards, and you wonder why he leads his team in almost all categories. And by the way, the drought there, that note on the bottom, really the most important. Pacific without a field goal in the last 7:53. You mentioned the shooting percentage. They were just 1 of 8 on 2-point shots. They're going to need to do better than that to have a chance to get back in this thing.
They really will have to do better, and I think one of the key things is UOP has got to find a way to get to the free throw line. If they can do that, they can inch closer and closer with the clock dead.
Yeah, we only had a total of 4 free throws taken in that first half. What will the second half bring? Well, find out for yourself. We're back after this quick timeout. And welcome back inside the Spanos Center. We're closing in on the start of the second half. And you mentioned in your interview with Bob Thomas and Stan, the Coaches versus Cancer, fundraiser. It's a season-long thing. And all the coaches wearing sneakers tonight.
Throughout America on this day, all the players, all the coaches are wearing sneakers with their 3-piece suits, right? And it's quite a fashion statement. But what it does say is that the coaches in the NCAA are band together to battle cancer.
And, of course, so many coaches in the NCAA have battled cancer personally. Jim Boeheim, Jim Calhoun jump to mind, a couple of big-name Hall of Fame coaches. So, really, a lot of big names on board with this, and it's a great fight and a great cause.
You bet it is. And Jim Boeheim really was the genesis for the whole program.
Well, Orlando Johnson, we mentioned, leads all scorers, 10 points. Get this, Stan, only 4 players in the scoring column for Pacific. That's it. They're going to need to find some more offense in a hurry if they're going to hang with the Gauchos in the second half.
I'd like to see them try to go inside with the ball, if not to shoot it necessarily, but to attract some attention, maybe go a little inside out. I think they'll have a little more success in terms of drawing fouls and things of that nature.
Nunley will put it on the floor and then give it back to Taylor. Plenty of time here for them to work against this zone.
Santa Barbara starting out in the zone again.
Serta backs his way in. Little floater won't go. Williams inside for the rebound, but it's knocked away, and here come the Tigers. See if they can convert the stop into some offense, and yes, they can. How about McLeod coast to coast? His first points of the game, and he's got a chance for an and one.
Well, that's a terrific way to get the half started. Coach Thomason on the side applauding his guard.
And now here we are at the free throw line. Let's see if he can get the three the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, Trevin Harris really started that with that block on Allen Williams. Nice job on the defense there by Harris. McLeod at the stripe, 73% on the season. And that brings it just a 7-point game now.
Pacific extending the defense a little bit, meeting them in the backcourt, making them use a little time off the clock. Nice release by 15.
Yeah, you can't leave Nunley that open and expect it to work out a lot of times. What it does that time is he's off the mark, and maybe the Gauchos will be cold here to start the second half and give Pacific a chance to climb back in this thing.
Allen Williams is very bright for a freshman. The way he released against that pressure, they're high between the half-court line and the top of the key was very, very good for Santa Barbara.
Yeah, now you know why Bob Williams likes this kid so much. Durant in the corner, great head fake, and then kicks it back to McLeod inside for Kelly, and whistle that foul on Cerna. That's going to be the third on Cerna now. So a little foul trouble here for the big man for UC Santa Barbara.
Jaime Cerna made a pretty good play here, and now he got him on the arm. That was a good call, very good. And Cerna is now in a little bit of foul trouble. If I'm not mistaken, he has
three fouls. Yep, indeed. So Kelly now at the free throw line, and Khalil Kelly just 39% on the season. Ouch. That is not going to help you get back into the game.
Now watch how he shot or will shoot the ball off the dribble as opposed to halting a little bit after the dribble and addressing the basket and then shooting it. Let's see if he slows it down. That's better right there. That's much better.
Not a better result, though.
No.
Misses both. And Pacific misses an opportunity to cut further into the deficit that they face right now. Down 7, early stages here of the second half. Buckles checked in. We'll give it up to Johnson. Orlando no good. Rebound inside on Williams, and he got hacked.
Williams is so bright. Someone a few years ago did a statistic. 72% of all missed shots from one side go to the opposite side. And where was he? Opposite side. Weak side rebounder. Got that ball, drew the foul.
And that foul on Khalil Kelly, that is his second of the game now. And Hornbuckle will go to work. Gets it out of the corner, and Johnson will set things up from the top of the key.
Hornbuckle's very unselfish. A very nice passer. Good size for being out on top against the zone.
And now whistle away from the basketball. They're going to have an offensive foul on Allen Williams. That's going to be his third. So now some serious foul trouble here. Bob Williams not liking it. That is 3 on Allen Williams, already 3 on Jaime Cerna. So he's a couple of big men in there with 3 fouls. Although Cerna on the bench, he'll leave Williams in, at least for now.
Tigers trail by 7, but they are off to a good start here. If they could have made a couple of free throws a moment ago.
Duran will shoot it out from there if you leave him open. Harris calling for the basketball.
Gauchos have found Duran. They know where he is. They're closing on him right now.
Harris will put it on the floor. He's got to shoot it under 5 in the shot clock. Oh, nice board. Tips it back over to Duran, and now the Tigers can reset. McLeod. Williams comes down with the rebound. That's the 8th board of the game for Allen Williams. Oh, nice up-court pass to Orlando Johnson. Johnson nowhere to go with it. Picked up his dribble, and it's going to be a timeout call, I believe, by Orlando Johnson. Nice heads-up call by the senior. Realized he had lost his dribble and was in trouble.
That was an excellent double down on him at that point. Look at who's the double down on Johnson. No shot. Calls timeout.
And welcome back here in Stockton. A quick reminder, coming up later on tonight on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area, it's Hyundai Sportsnet Central. They'll have all the details on Alden Smith, the 49ers rookie, arrested in Miami Beach early this morning on DUI. They'll have more on that. The Warriors looking for some answers inside. And where do I sign? The 4-part series on National Signing Day continues. It's all tonight at 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area with John Henry Smith and Brody Brazil. Certainly not the offseason news the 49ers were looking for, less than a week removed from the NFC Championship game. Check out the shooting this half. UC Santa Barbara still looking for some scoring. They haven't scored in the last 5:26 going back to the late stages of the first half, Stan. They need to find something.
They sure do, and you cannot afford the luxury of allowing Nunley and
Here we go, and Orlando Johnson to operate around that free throw line with the ball.
Look at Allen Williams. He gets sacked from behind. He'll be going to the free throw line. That is his 9th rebound of the game. And Bob Williams joked that he was going to get 19 tonight in honor of his 19th birthday, which is today. He's almost halfway there.
He simply is in the area of the rim all the time, and he goes up, notice, with 2 hands. Now watch this. It's not one hand. He goes up with those strong 2 hands. He's not a big jumper, but he's a great position guy and very, very powerful with 240 pounds on that freshman body. What a great future this young guy has.
He was the Arizona State Player of the Year a year ago. I mean, a lot of talent for this guy. By the way, that was the 3rd foul on Khalil Kelly, so a little foul trouble now for the Tigers, but they're so deep it might not matter. And both free throws knocked down for Williams. He's now got 4 points in the game.
And he has 4 for 4, if I'm not mistaken, at the free throw line. Very interesting for a 54% free thrower.
You are correct. All 4 of his points coming from the charity stripe. Maybe a little birthday magic working for him. Inside, Kelly. He draws some contact. And
top. Now we find a way to iron things out and get Khalil Kelly to make a couple of free throws here. So let's see the concentration on this first one.
Kelly, a 33% free throw shooter, and he's already missed a couple tonight. Make it 3. 0 for 3 at the free throw line tonight for Kelly. 33%. How is that possible, Stan?
Well, he just struggles, and it's become a mental thing. There, nice delivery. I'd like to see him get his body a little more compact, but that's a story for another day.
So it's down to an 8-point deficit for Pacific, 8-point lead for Santa Barbara. This side depends on which side you're looking at it from.
You know, I find it interesting too because Bob Thomas is one of the great shooting coaches around, and you know that he's worked with Kelly. So it's just a struggle. He'll break through and he'll figure it out.
Santa Barbara very patient against this zone defense. Now shot clock down under 10. Nunley cross court for Taylor. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Not sure if Nunley knows. Nunley will force it, and they say, too late. So wipe off any attempt. It's going to be Pacific basketball on the turnover. Bob Williams not happy about the failure to recognize the shot clock there by his senior.
Outstanding closeouts by UOP on several occasions as the ball was reversed from side to side. Here, UOP is now looking at a zone, an extended 1-2-2.
Oh, Hornbuckle got a hand on it. Ball batted around. Harris comes down with it.
And we got a reaching foul.
And I think that's going to be Hornbuckle a little frustrated. He had a chance to come away with the steal and doesn't get the basketball and then reaches in.
It's early. We haven't even played a full 4 minutes, and UCSB has 5 fouls.
Well, that is exactly what you were saying. If Pacific's going to get in this, they need to get to the free throw line. Although as a team, Pacific only shooting 67% from the charity stripe this season. Hornbuckle finding a seat on the bench after committing that foul.
It's man-to-man defense now. Very good defense on the ball.
Duran with the basketball. Plenty of time here for the Tigers. Duran will get it back out to McLeod to reset.
This Santa Barbara team is very well coached. Nice shot, nice interior pass, jump hook, but they're very well coached in their on-ball defense. That's why you have to get the ball inside to relieve some of the perimeter pressure on the ball.
Yeah, take a look at what the Gauchos have done so far this half. 0 for 5 from the field, couple of turnovers. Bob Williams letting the Tigers get back in this game.
Got a 6-point game now.
I should say Bob Williams' team, not Bob Williams individually. I'm sure he's not letting him back in the game.
Well, he's got his sneakers on over there.
That is true. Might be tempted to come out on the court if this continues. Johnson will give it up for Boswell. Back to Johnson. Shot clock down to 2. He's got to take it, and he doesn't make it. Rebounds. Back down to the Gauchos. Nunley inside, and he'll get a roll.
I'm going to tell you, Allen Williams, again, was right in the middle of the fray on the rebounding there. Ball got knocked loose, and Santa Barbara came up with the ball to extend their lead to 8 points.
That was a big bucket, too, for the Gauchos, because Pacific could have gotten it down to a 1-possession game with a 3 had they come away with that basketball. Inside for Kelly, and can't get it to go. Oh, nice rebound by McLeod. He'll go in amongst the trees. We got whistle and a contact, and he's going to get a chance to go to the free throw line. But not before we have immediate timeout on the floor. The Tigers trying to climb back in this one. They've cut it down to an 8-point deficit and a chance to get closer at the stripe after this timeout. Stay with us here on Comcast Sportsnet. Back in Stockton, we're down to an 8-point game. And, you know, earlier in the show, we showed you the resume of Bob Thomas. And Bob Williams, also a pretty impressive resume. Now the winningest coach in school history and also approaching his 700th career coaching game, if you count his resume below Division I. I asked him about both of those prior to the game stand, and he said, I hate talking about those. I'm so glad I got the record and it's over with because it's all anybody wanted to talk to me about.
Well, he just passed Jerry Pym, who was the coach at UC Santa Barbara when I had the pleasure of being the director of athletics. And prior to going to UC Santa Barbara, Bob won the NCAA Division II National Championship at UC Davis. Of course, Davis is now a Division I school in the Big West Conference, but he's accomplished a lot. He's been on the sideline many, many times.
Yeah, 2 straight NCAA tournaments for him, 3 21-win seasons. Lorenzo McLeod, the free throw, and he's got 4 now on the night. McLeod, product of Santa Rosa Junior College, and also went to Panola Junior College in Texas. A couple of junior colleges for him. Misses that free throw, so it remains a 7-point lead for the Gauchos.
There's an extended pressure. Just to use a little time. Will there be a trap? There was no trap. They slide back to the 2-3 zone again.
Garth, Boswell, Nunley, Johnson, and Cerna on the floor for the Gauchos, and Johnson nearly lost the handle on the basketball.
You have to be very conscious of the high post.
Johnson shot in the corner, no good. And here comes Pacific trying to get a little bit closer. McLeod will pull up from the free throw line and knock it down. Lorenzo McLeod gets it down to a 5-point game, the closest it's been in quite a while.
At 5 points is significant, particularly when you see that Santa Barbara has 16 fouls, and from now on, UOP will be in 1-on-1. Searching. There's the open high post.
Cerna on the floor, and he got knocked down to the ground. He'll have a chance. Actually, he'll probably call that on the floor. I don't think he'll be heading to the free throw line as contact with Trevin Harris.
He's getting 2 shots. I'm not certain. Here's the jump shot by...
Yeah, I wasn't sure he was in the act of shooting. That was why I was a little bit hesitant to say that there.
If they hadn't reached in, I believe that they may have called a charge on Jaime Cerna. Here it is, right here. He drives in. They have position, but the man defending the drive reached in. That's where the foul occurred.
Yeah, I suppose he was in the act of shooting, although that shot had absolutely no chance of going in from way down low.
It was quite a painful charge to take that particular time as the knee went right in the chest. Here we go. We'll see it after this first free throw.
Cerna 70% free throw shooter. And money on that one.
Here it is. Here's the drive. There's the block, attempted block. He had a move. He saw that knee coming. Yeah, he was in big trouble. Okay.
Yeah, he got him with the hands, too. And they're trying to just protect himself. So Cerna will knock them both down. 4 in the game now for Jaime Cerna. And it is back to a 7-point lead here for the Gauchos.
T.J. Taylor is going to find himself in a very interesting position in just a moment.
3 by Durant, no good, and rebound pulled down there by Garth. So Nate Garth will run it up here for the Gauchos. 7-point lead inside of Johnson. Nice passing inside of Cerna. It doesn't go down, but he'll be back to the free throw line. And there again, Johnson, who does everything.
UC Santa Barbara is really exploiting the high post area against this 2-3 zone. They get the ball, in this case, to Johnson, as we're going to see right there. Cerna rolls low. That's called a high-low pass, and he almost got the basket. Excellent execution. Foul, and the miss. Cerna makes the first of 2.
Yeah, Cerna perfect tonight here at the free throw line, and A career 56.5% shooter from the field coming into this game. Third all-time in Santa Barbara history. Rattles that one out, so just stays a 8-point lead here for the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. Beatty picked up the dribble, now gets it back. Thought about the three, will take the free throw line jumper off glass, no good. Cerner rebound. Nunley in the corner for Johnson, quickly draws the coverage and then gets it inside to Cerna. Cerna gets the roll to go. Suddenly they found a scoring machine inside in Jaime Cerna.
He's shooting 68% on the season.
And Bob Thomason wants to talk it over. 10-point lead for the Gauchos. And again, just look at, it all starts with Orlando Johnson, just so good. Gets the ball inside to Cerna, who's able to knock it in. Johnson just does everything.
He certainly does, and he attracts so much attention that there are big gaps. And if people will flash to the gaps, they will see the ball.
And a quick reminder, the first place San Jose Sharks return to the ice following the All-Star break Tuesday. They'll host the Columbus Blue Jackets. Coverage begins on Comcast Sportsnet California at 7 with Sharks pregame live. Complete Sharks coverage every night on Sportsnet Central, as well as CSNCalifornia.com. Your home for Sharks hockey is Comcast Sportsnet. You know, Stan, I was talking to you a little bit about Orlando Johnson before the game, and a great story for him, and a terrific young man. And boy, he's really had to go through a lot in his life. His mother died when he was a young boy at the age of 3. Moved in with some family and lived with 10 family members in a house which caught on fire when he was 6. 4 family members perished in that fire. Then his grandmother raised him till he was 11. Then she eventually passed away, and his brothers were the ones who really reared him from there, and he credits them with turning him into the man that he is.
And this shot there, Orlando Johnson has gone through so much, and here he is at an outstanding university, playing basketball and getting a wonderful education. And a long three by number 10,
Boswell.
Kyle Boswell from Edison High School in Huntington Beach.
Yeah, Boswell now 5 points in the game, and it is back up to a double-digit lead and then some for the Gauchos, up by 13. Contact inside. McLeod's going to have a chance to go to the free throw line. And with that, we've got the media timeout on the floor. Boswell putting the Gauchos up by a baker's dozen. We're back to Stockton in a moment. James Nunley jam, the highlight of the night. And, you know, it was just a couple moments ago, Pacific was back in this game, down just 5, and all of a sudden it's back to a 13-point lead for the Gauchos thanks to an 8-0 run. And there you see the shooting. There's been a lot of shooting from beyond the arc tonight. 37 threes attempted combined by these two teams, Stan.
Well, and it's really difficult for Pacific because they continue to shoot 22% from the floor. The last 3 that was made by Santa Barbara by Kyle Boswell is an indication, was his last game where he had 4 threes against UC Davis.
Lorenzo McLeod at the free throw line. He's knocking down the first. He's got 7 points now in the game here tonight. And I mentioned McLeod played at 2 junior colleges before finding his way here to Pacific. And Bob Thomason feeling like these guys might be starting to come together a little bit, up to 8 points now for McLeod. They played so well in that game at Long Beach State a couple weeks ago.
Here's that extended pressure, just trying to get them to use a little more time before they get in this set. Almost got the deflection on the ball.
Nunley to Boswell in the corner, free for 3, and well, can't get it to drop. So here come the Tigers. Spencer Llewellyn, who's checked in the game there at number 5, flashing through the paint. Not a lot of movement here, Stan.
No. I think there was a foul right there by Boswell, and I believe that number 20, for UOP. Ross Rivera will get in there. There wasn't a lot of movement, and we're looking here at a lot of standing around trying to figure out what defense they're in. Then they discovered they're in man defense. Post slid down, trying to post up, and got the foul.
Yeah, Boswell kind of bailed him out with that foul.
Well, one of the problems is they're having trouble reading the defense and therefore learning what offense they need to be in.
Rivera 81% from the charity stripe this season, knocks down the first.
A lot of times to ascertain whether it's a man or a zone, you'll just run a guard through to the opposite corner. If the man follows you, they're probably in man.
Rivera gets it back down to single digits. 4 straight points now for the Tigers, but they'll need some stops here with 11 minutes to go. Down by 9.
We can anticipate a trap of some kind because they're showing extended defense, but not trapping. They're just sliding back to the zone defense. They're working hard.
Boswell puts it on the floor back for Johnson. Johnson still no points here in the second half. He's got 10 in the game. Now Nunley, shot clock down under 10. And there's a turnover, almost a turnover. Ball batted out of bounds, and they will not get a fresh shot clock because they never had possession, did Pacific. So it'll be just 1 second on the shot clock for the Gauchos. They're going to have to get one up here in the hurry.
Great effort by Travis Fulton. Santiago High School, Irvine Valley College,
And a rebound.
He shot that from out of bounds.
Well, that's okay.
if it had gone in, what would the call be?
A technical foul? What would the call be, Stan?
It'd be the other team's ball out of bounds.
There you go. Lorenzo McCall. I can't say I've ever seen that before. Off the rim.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times.
And McLeod takes it in, so a 6-0 run now for the Tigers. They've got it back down to 7. And Lorenzo McLeod starting to heat up. He's in double digits. 10 points to lead all scorers for Pacific.
And there's the high post entry again. They would almost, in that 2-3 zone defense, be wise to almost match up man-to-man with that high post, because that's the area of attack, whether it's to shoot it or to pass it to the weak side.
Nunley in double digits now with 11 in the game. Pacific crowd trying to make some noise and get into this one and get the Tigers back into the game. Nice ball fake inside, and then the bucket for Travis Fulton, his first points of the game. Back down to 7.
Did a nice job of getting his feet under himself, so he had good balance and good strength, protecting the ball with his body on that right-hand jump hook off the glass.
They're working around to Garth, wide open for 3, too strong. Rebound pops out, Rivera, and then batted around, and the Gauchos come away with it. Orlando Johnson to Boswell. And now whistle and contact, and they're going to get Rivera inside, trying to stop Nunley.
That is the Achilles heel. Here's the pass of the ball at the high post, turn, and jump shot.
Second foul of the game there for Ross Rivera. A non-shooting situation, as that's only the 15th foul on Pacific.
Every time the ball goes to the high post, the other post man is under the basket in case the defense breaks down for that high-low dump-down pass.
Hornbuckle into the game, takes the inbounds. They work it around to Nunley on the wing for 3. That rattles out. Cerna there for the putback. And he got fouled as he went up, and Cerna going to have a chance to go to the free throw line.
When you have someone like Cerna and Williams going to the glass consistently like they have tonight, you have a chance. Here's the rebound, going up. He's got to be able to convert that.
It's Cerna getting it done with 3 fouls in the game. There you see the 7 points, 8 rebounds. Could be working on a double-double for Jaime Cerna.
He's a very good free thrower. If I'm not mistaken, he's 4 for 4 at this point in the game. 3 for 4, excuse me.
Khalil Kelly in this game for the Tigers.
So when is the last time you saw a kid playing hoops with the hair that Jaime Cerna's got going on?
It's a good-looking haircut, for starters. I mean, we have some guys on other teams that I've seen who really need to go that same barber.
Hey, you know what? It works for him. I saw Kyle Boswell in a game earlier this year sporting a mohawk. So UCSB getting a little creative down there with the hairstyles.
There you go. Well, if you're at the beach, that happens.
Back to a 9-point lead for the Gauchos.
Cloud looking to penetrate, reversing the ball. Very good, very strong defense by Santa Barbara.
McLeod nearly shifted his pivot foot there. Gets it on the floor. And are they going to count the and one or whistle before the foul? They did count it. Going to be an and one situation here for Lorenzo McLeod.
My goodness, that was a little continuation, but there's a contact. How he managed to get the ball up, because he was on his way down, releasing the ball, and it hit way outside the square to get in. That's an excellent shot.
And free throw good, so complete the three-point play, and now 13 points in the game for McLeod, and it's back to a 6-point game.
It's going to end up being a free throw contest. Pacific will be in 1-1 the rest of the way.
Suddenly Pacific right back in this basketball game. Certainly not what the Gauchos wanted. Gunley working it to Cerna. Check that hornbuckle also in the game. Gives it back up to Nemlik. Shot clock now under 10. They find Hornbuckle in the corner for three, and that barely drew iron. Here comes Pacific the other way.
McLeod is really looking at every opportunity. Pardon me, TJ Taylor is guarding.
And whistle, there's a foul on Taylor, and it's going to be Trevin Harris. And Harris going to have a chance to go to the free throw line, but not before we have a media timeout on the floor. Lorenzo McLeod suddenly getting a hot hand. He's got his team back within 6. We're back after this quick timeout. And welcome back. 6-point game, thanks in large part to Lorenzo McLeod. You know, Stan, he came into the game leading the team in assists. Only 2 of those tonight. He's decided instead to, well, light up the scoreboard. He's got 13 in this one.
Well, we saw the jump shot, then that little teardrop, and now this sensational athletic move. Drive, double pump, and squeezing it off the glass and drew the foul. The young man from Compton High School, who shoots 38% from the floor, has raised his percentage considerably, and he has put this team on his shoulders.
Yeah, look at those comparisons. First half, second half. Something lit a fire under him at halftime. I don't know if it was Bob Thomason or what, but boy, he certainly came to play here in the second half.
There's a great line that coaches use with kids. Yeah, they ask him, are you getting a full scholarship? Yeah. Then play a full game. Here we go.
Oh, Trevin Harris will go to the free throw line. He's got 5 in this game. And, boy, Trevin Harris, a good shooter, leads the team in three-point shooting. Just 43% on the season from the free throw line.
But he got that first one. That's a key one. Here we go again. It's a 5-point game, looking to cut it to 4.
Always big to get that first one, get the nerves out of the way. And he knocks them both down, so 7 in the game now for him, and it is indeed down to a 4-point game, and a little token pressure here from Pacific.
I believe that this extended pressure has given more vitality, more energy to this Pacific team. We have to watch out for that high post entry again, because that's where the Tigers have really been hurt. There's the high-low basket.
Cerna inside. He's got 11 now in the second half, 13 in the game.
The man that flashes to that free throw line is attacking beneath the zone, which is a great thing to do and given a great hand target.
Check that, 11 now in the game for Cerna. 9 here in the second half. Tigers need a good look here. They get the 3-point from Durant. No good. Rebound to the Gauchos, and 1 and done on that trip. They need to hit the offensive glass a little bit better as well here, Stan.
Well, that was a long shot. If you were at the offensive glass, you weren't going to get it. And TJ Taylor just demonstrated you don't have to be real tall to get a rebound.
Boswell to 3. Front of the iron, no good.
There's another rebound for TJ. And once again, long shots, long rebounds. You've got to have guards out around that free throw line.
Another 3 try, and this time Pacific will come away with the board. Khalil Kelly. So Tigers down 6, trying to get even closer.
Not a lot of movement.
Kelly almost lost it inside, instead gets it up, and he's heading to the free throw line. If they whistle that on TJ Taylor, that'll be his 4th.
Here's a pass right to Cerna, dumps it down low. That was to Cerna, wasn't it? No, there is no real understanding at this point.
Yeah, they haven't figured out how to defend that. Here's Khalil Kelly back to the free throw line and does get that one to go. It's been a struggle for him so far here tonight at the free throw line, as Kelly now just 2 of 5 from the charity stripe.
But the last two, and that's important.
It stays at 2. He's got just 2 points in the game, and it remains a 5-point lead here for the Gauchos. Pacific hasn't led since the very early stages of this one. Nearly intercepted there by Durant. A stop here would be huge for the Tigers if they could get it down to a 1-possession game.
So we have 2 excellent passers in the high-low rotation with Hornbuckle and Cerna. So they'll be looking for each other at every opportunity when they can get the ball at the high post. We have a foul, tripping.
That's going to be on Khalil Kelly. That's his 4th foul, so he's in a little bit of foul trouble. And TJ Taylor, who he fouled, also has 4 fouls. So some players out there with 4 fouls right now in this game. And, well, Bob Thomason recognizing that as Ross Rivera is going to check in for Kelly.
Keegan Hornbuckle going to the line, a 56% free throw shooter.
Hornbuckle, the transfer from Colorado. Free throw money there, so he'll get another try.
Keegan's father, Mike Hornbuckle, is up in the stands behind us here, thrilled that his son has got his health back again. He was a little homesick in Colorado, quite frankly, and got back to the beach, and he's very happy.
There you saw the graphic, by the way. Quick reminder, immediately following us, it'll be San Diego taking on San Francisco on the Hilltop. Make sure you stay tuned for that right here on Comcast Sportsnet California. WCC basketball coming your way, and the WCC having a great year. And we're hoping maybe to get 3 teams into the NCAA tournament, although BYU's tapered off a little bit here of late.
5 minutes and 30 seconds to go. 7-point game. Nice offensive rebound.
And did they say he stepped on the baseline or pushed out?
No, I think the timeout was called.
Timeout on the floor, and, well, McLeod was in trouble, so he used the timeout. You know what? That's not a bad way to go. We saw Orlando Johnson do that once earlier in this game, and McLeod showing some heads-up play. Didn't want to lose the basketball. In a game like this, when you're struggling to get back in, Stan, you need every possession you get.
Absolutely. It was a very heads-up play. I don't know if the coach called it or the young man, but the fact remains Pacific retains the ball with the baseline out of bounds coming in out of this timeout.
Well, Stan, you know, you're part of the long, illustrious history here at Pacific. Been a great history here at this university. And how about Michael Olowokandi, of course, NBA player and a great Pacific Tiger.
A great story about Olowokandi. I mentioned earlier the coach at Cabrillo College, Tony Markopoulos. He was in the office during the noon hour. A phone call came in from a young man calling from England, and he was asking about the track team. There is no track team here. He was a triple jumper. It was Michael Olowokandi, who didn't know anything about the game of basketball.
Well, it worked out pretty well for him, I would say. That offensive possession, on the other hand, did not work out well for the Tigers. They lose the basketball, and another turnover now. 6 in the game for Pacific. Overall, they've done a great job taking care of the basketball. In fact, just 13 combined turnovers in this game. And as I speak, another turnover. So now 14 combined turnovers. That's the 8th turnover against Santa Barbara.
The young freshman, TJ Taylor, has to understand, you get airborne, it's difficult to pass. You've got to stay on the floor. He'll learn.
Hey, I wanted to work this in real quick because I teased it at the top of the show. But part of the history of Pacific, they used to play games at the Civic Auditorium. You told me you used to have a decisive home advantage in those games.
Well, if you put the ball on the court at the half-court line, it would immediately roll to the stage end. And if anyone shot the ball out of the corner, they were shooting on an 11-foot high basket.
So you designed all your defenses to make the opposition go over there.
Everybody was right-handed. We allowed them to go.
And this obviously a much newer facility. Speaking of new facilities, they just built a new practice facility across the street for the volleyball and basketball teams. Fantastic here in Stockton. And the 3 is away, and Travis Fulton, great ball movement to set it up. Stan, we got a 4-point game.
Yes, we do, and that was the best offensive execution that Santa Barbara has seen out of UOP tonight.
So let's see how the Gauchos answer. We got a ball game for the first time in quite a while. Nunley shot off the mark, and look who comes down with the rebound. Lorenzo McLeod.
He turned it over.
Oh, man.
And it's a good call, easy call.
Ill-timed turnover for Pacific. 7th turnover now of the game against them. And boy, McLeod came down with the basketball and maybe getting a little bit too excited. But how about this shot?
Great ball movement. Pressure on the shot. Beautiful release. Big basket.
Travis Fulton just 5 points in the game. He's averaging almost 10 a game, so he's been quiet. They need him to heat up. They need another stop here as well.
This is the crucial part of the game right here, obviously. And look out for the high-low again. Here it is. Hornbuckle stepped out, looking for it. For the ball again at the high post.
Johnson yet to score here in the second half. Nearly lost the handle. As we go under 4 minutes to go here in Stockton. And there's that high post. Hornbuckle, little turnaround, and rattles out, but Cerna there to clean up the mess.
And that's one of the difficulties of a zone defense. You don't have specific assignments to block people off the glass. And Cerna, again, asserted himself. Very intelligent player, went to where the action is. Let's watch it here. Hornbuckle with the turnaround jumper. Cerna is already there, went up with both hands. Beautiful off the glass and in to give the 6-point lead now to the Gauchos.
Cerna, by the way, a double-double now in the game. 13 points. He's also got 11 rebounds. So Jaime Cerna, you put him on the floor, as we talked about at the top of the show tonight. Good things happen. They score on 3 out of every 4 possessions when he's in the game. That's unbelievable.
Well, it is truly one of the most amazing statistics I've ever heard quoted. I've never heard it, in fact. And when you think about it, that means I've got to get him involved. I want him around the ball. I want him getting lots of touches. He is totally unselfish. If you are open, he'll get you the ball. And on the other hand, when he receives it, he knows what to do with it down low.
So here we go. Pacific needs to answer. A 6-point game as we come into the final minutes. McLeod, he'll pull up and shoot the long-range jumper. Put a 3 on the board for McLeod.
The young junior is feeling it tonight. As we said, they've saddled him up there. He's got this team on his shoulders. 3:30 to go.
Yeah, he's got 16 now in the game. It's down to 1 possession. Nunley puts it on the paint. Cross court for Boswell. Cerna and wipe it off. Offensive foul. He put his shoulder down into Ross Rivera, and Bob Williams can't believe it.
You know, I think it was a good call. I think it was a good play, and it was outside the arc, if I'm not mistaken.
Definitely outside the arc and definitely offensive. 4 fouls on the game in Cerna. That could be trouble. Stay with us. Welcome back. Quick reminder, coming up on Monday, the Raiders will officially welcome Dennis Allen as their new head coach, and you don't want to miss the introductory press conference. You can see it live beginning at noon. See the silver and black begin a new era under Dennis Allen. It's on Press Conference Live Monday at noon right here on Comcast Sportsnet California. Stan, a 1-possession game. What's Bob Thomason telling his team at the timeout?
Well, if I had to guess, I'm anticipating that they're going to look to try and get the ball to Duran in the corner and get McLeod to give it up and have him recycle and find a new opening, because they're going to close out hard on him. And when they do, that gives him the penetration opportunity. Let's see what comes out of this.
By the way, you saw that graphic there, tale of 2 halves, because all Johnson's points in the first half, all McLeod's in the second.
They've closed out Johnson the whole half. We have a man-to-man defense, so they're not going to leave him. No, they did leave him. They're trapping. It is a matchup zone.
Well, they had an open look there for Fulton, but he'll kick it to Duran instead. Harris from the wing for 3. Rebound comes down to Cerna. Cerna wanted 3 players for the Gauchos with 4 fouls right now. TJ Taylor and Alan Williams, the other 2. They're not on the floor right now. Cerna, the only one on the floor with the 4 fouls.
You know, I'm certain that, over the back, I'm certain that Harris felt good about that, and no one looked funny on the sideline over there on the UOP bench. But I sure would have looked for the hot hand, and that would be McLeod.
Whistle that foul on Travis Fulton. So now Cerna getting a chance to go to the free throw line. And, well, Jaime's been solid there tonight. 5 of 6, and going to add to this night. He's had a fantastic night. The free throw drops, so 14 points now to go along with the 12 rebounds.
You know, he's got such an easy style, nice and smooth, very comfortable up the line, not too much movement. Let's see if he can cash in on the second one.
Cerna knocks them both down, so now 15 for him.
Much like a golfer, the ability to repeat the same motion time and again makes you a very effective shooter.
Let's see if Pacific has another answer in them, Stan. They've hung tough here in the second half. Fulton kicks it into the corner. Now McLeod. McLeod creates inside to Harris. Harris goes glass, no good, and whistle, and he deals the foul.
Very late whistle,
yeah,
but the right whistle.
Harris was looking for it. I was a little hesitant because I couldn't believe it was coming in that late.
Well, everyone was looking to the official, and he did blow the whistle. It just, you know, he chewed on it for a moment.
Yeah, even Bob Thomas getting a little chuckle out of that.
He got him with the body down below.
By the way, did they call that on Serna? Because if they did, that's 5, and he's done. In fact, it is the 5th on Serna. Serna has fouled out of this game, so Jaime Serna will finish with 15 points and 12 rebounds, and that is a big loss for the Gauchos.
Tremendous loss, except that Alan Williams, in all of his rebounding prowess, re-enters the game. So, but in terms of the passing and the scoring, Serna really was feeling it. It's a shame he was automatic at the line there for the Gauchos.
Free throw for Harris is off the iron, no good, but Alan Williams also playing with 4 fouls, so you got to believe Pacific going to go right after him.
Yes, and Harris is a 43% shooter on the year, and this has really hurt him. There's one. Back to a 4-point game.
Little pressure here by Pacific as Garth will get it up and intercepted, and then Fulton knew he was falling out of bounds, so he tried to throw it off of Orlando Johnson. He didn't like the call at all. Khalil Kelly came and walked the ball over to the official. I think he was a little sarcasm there. He was a little too nice with it, but they say he didn't get it away in time.
Well,
Rob Rourke right on top of that call.
He is going to review it.
Well, they are calling a timeout on the floor here to take a look at the monitor.
I don't know the rule whether this is reviewable, but obviously it is, and we're going to find out right now.
Yeah, the angle that we see here, well, maybe this is the first time we're getting a look at this angle. And there you see Duran with the basketball.
No. It's blue ball out of bounds.
You think that other foot came down, huh?
Right there before he. Yeah. Now, if they were playing croquet, he just scored 2 points.
One more look at it.
Now watch this right between the legs.
Well, I'm not so sure. I think the right foot came down inbounds. I don't know if it was on the line.
Well, that's a different point. Now, I just saw him come down. I didn't see how.
Because I think he got rid of it, but it doesn't matter. It's academic because they say that they had the call right to begin with, so it will stay with Pacific. All right, check that. It'll stay with the Gauchos. They inbound with a shot clock down at 27. Pacific really notching up the defense here. They need to try and get a stop.
Johnson has not scored this half.
A little too quiet. Orlando Johnson, they did a nice job of bottling him up after 10 in the first half. Boswell with 3. And the rebound comes down to who else? McLeod.
He's going to go all the way.
And he does go all the way. He gets it to go. 18 for McLeod, all in the second half, and we got it down to a 2-point game.
He feels it. You knew he was going to go all the way. He did the right thing. This is a very, very key possession now. Coach Williams is calling a set play.
Well, you got to try and at least get a look here for Orlando Johnson, don't you?
I would think so, and certainly Nunley's got to be handling the ball. The big man inside, Alan Williams, is really posting up. We got a foul now.
Yeah, Marcus Durante reach in on Orlando Johnson. A little bit of a bailout there. Johnson not having a great year at the free throw line, so it might not be such a bad idea.
He makes 2 out of 3 at 67%. Here's the drive all the way. And a very difficult shot, but he got the nice soft touch and got the shooter's bounce up on the rim for 2. We've got a 2-point game with 1:09 to go.
Johnson hasn't been at the free throw line all night, and he's had a quiet, in fact, almost invisible second half. So maybe this is the right guy to put here. Shooting a 1-and-1, and, well, he makes that one, so it's a 3-point game.
Yeah, he's a warrior. He's a tough guy, and he's been in this position many, many times. We have a little conversation going on between the officials and the 2 big men, Kelly and Alan Williams. Okay. There's going to be some action on the glass right now.
Orlando Johnson can't get that one to go. Rebound came down to Christian Peter. He called for the timeout, but he didn't have the basketball. He did not have the basketball, Stan.
Because he took his hands off the ball to call the timeout and make the signal instead of just doing it with his voice. Great call. Smart by the kid, but don't let go of the ball.
You can't have it both ways.
No, you cannot. That was a huge deal. Now, the question is, there's plenty of time. The Pacific does not need a three in this situation. They just need to move the ball, get themselves a quality shot.
McLeod driving it in, and boy, he almost walks. Kicks it away to Buck for three. The heart of a Lion. They didn't need a three, but they'll take a three. And we got a tie ball game, 51 apiece with 53 seconds to go. Who'd have thunk it?
Look at that team come off the bench down there, the Pacific end of the court. Excited, very, very excited, cheering their teammates on. That was a gutsy shot. Penetration right here. Kick the ball. Shot from well beyond the three, bottom of the net. That's a huge basket.
First tie since it was 6-6 with 17:48 to go in the first half.
Well, just like a year ago when Pacific hit one at the buzzer, we've got a nail-biter going right now. And now it's going to be interesting to see who Bob Williams goes to coming out of that timeout.
By the way, interesting note, Jeff Ketcher, who's the lead official here tonight, I talked to him about that game a year ago here, and he was officiating that game.
He remembers it well.
He remembers it well, said the three happened from the wing on the same end of the floor as Pacific won it, and maybe we're going to get history to repeat itself. You know what the final score of that game was?
No, what was it?
Going off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it was 57-54.
Oh, my.
So we could be...
We're in that neighborhood.
We're in that neighborhood.
Yeah, we really are 51 up. You know, this has been a terrific show of how this Pacific team continues to come together. You know, I understand now they all know each other by first name, and that's good. And they're growing. They're simply figuring it out.
I think it really came together for them in that loss at Long Beach State. They had the lead. They were up 3 with 3:30 to go. Gave up a 4-point play to Casper Ware. And then it was a parade to the free throw line for Long Beach State. They ended up winning it by 10. But you could see that they were starting to come together. And you're seeing it here tonight.
You got to believe that Orlando Johnson and Nunley are going to make the decisions for this particular shot and this particular offensive surge by the Gauchos.
Johnson to Nunley. Now into the corner. Boswell will try the three, and he knocks it down.
Beautiful ball movement. Beautiful action by the Gauchos that time to get a quality open shot out of the corner for the three-point lead. That's a big lead.
Kyle Boswell up to 8 points now in the game. And here's another look at it. Nice ball movement all the way around, Stan.
Just wide open. Beautifully done. I'm sure that it was designed exactly that way.
Now let's look at this from the UC Santa Barbara point of view. Bob Williams telling me before the game his team lacked grit, that they were just really fragile in terms of their psyche. This could be the kind of game that could help build that for them. Yeah, it's an opponent they're supposed to win, but it's still on the road. It's against a team that has a lot of talent, just hasn't gelled. This might be, if they can hold on and win this thing, a springboard for the Gauchos.
Yeah, that's a great observation. I suspect that Santa Barbara is going to defend against the three tenaciously. I don't think you need to shoot it. There's plenty of time, and I think that Pacific needs to look sincerely for the penetration and take it to the basket and then get set. And they've got to be prepared to foul if they don't get the ball right away.
Well, McLeod with basketball. He will go into the paint, and he draws contact, and they do have a blocking foul there. Are they going to whistle that, I believe, on Hornbuckle? No, they're whistling it instead on Christian Peter. Check that, Christian Peter in there.
That's right. Alan Williams did a great job of roofing the ball, much like you would do in volleyball on a block. He had both hands on top of a beautiful block, right there.
All things considered, that's not so bad for UCSB because, yeah, they get a chance to score with the clock stop, but at least it's not a three.
That's right.
Wow, nothing but net on that one. He's up to 19 points now in this one. All in the second half.
Bob Thomason and the Tigers are trying to figure out if they have to foul, who they're going to foul and when they're going to foul. It's going to be very interesting to see the kind of defense that the Tigers have off this free throw.
By the way, McLeod 8 rebounds, so he's 2 boards shy of a double-double. Johnson worked on 20 points. 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and 20 points. I'd say he's had a pretty nice night. Most of it coming here in the second half. They pressure the inbounds. They get it inside. Ball knocked out of bounds. And they say last touched by Pacific as Marcus Durant got a hand on the basketball in the corner there.
Pass was intended for James Nunnally, but now 11 must take the ball out on the side. They got a timeout. This is a smart timeout by Bob Williams because there's an awkward position where the ball is taken out. The Gauchos now will decide whether they want to defend the passer, which might be a good idea because he can't move, unlike the made free throw where he could run the baseline. And it's a small player that they had designated originally. He may change that and have Orlando Johnson take the ball out of bounds. Taller man who can throw the ball in many directions.
Well, there's Bob Thomason talking to his team. Don't forget, we will get you to the hilltop. San Diego and San Francisco. WCC basketball coming your way next year on Comcast Sportsnet California. But not before we're done here in Stockton. A 1-point game. UC Santa Barbara leading the Tigers by just a single digit after having a 10-point lead at the half. And really credit Pacific's defense in this one because they have shut down the Gauchos offense. This is the kind of pace that Bob Thomason was hoping to see in this floor tonight.
Absolutely. This is the way his team plays best. The chemistry of this particular team needs this kind of tempo. They're a mid-50s, high 50s, low 60s team. And now let's wait and see what happens. Do you smell an overtime coming?
I smell some. I don't think we're done with the scoring here yet. Let's just put it that way.
I agree with you.
T.J. Taylor will inbound the basketball. Nobody defending the inbounder, and he gets it in quickly to Orlando Johnson in the reach-in foul. So Johnson's going to walk to the free throw line, and Pacific has committed 10 fouls now. So double bonus here. 2 free throws coming up for Orlando Johnson. By the way, Pacific, if they don't find a way to win this one, it will be a continuation of frustration because look at what they've done in close games so far this season, Stan. They've yet to win a single game that's been decided by 5 points or less.
Well, that's where you grow. You figure out the places along the way that you could have won a game. Now, even if he makes them both, it's a 1-possession game. It means a 3. I expect the Gauchos to defend the 3-point shot and perhaps even give up a 2. Although there's plenty of time, you don't have to score the 3 now.
You take a timeout or do you let it flow if you're Bob Thomason?
No, you flow. You bring it hard.
Free throw good. He's got 13 in the game, so.
And here's full court pressure. Very smart move by Coach Bob Williams. Here we go.
McLeod will bring it up. Looking to get it up to Duran, and now to Fulton. 7 seconds to go. Somebody's going to have to shoot it. McLeod working around a pick. He'll force it from way downtown, off the iron, no good. And that's the game. McLeod wanted a foul. He didn't get it. All he can do is put his head in his hands and can't believe it. The Pacific Tigers come oh so close, but they fall short here tonight, Stan.
Yeah, that was very, very well defended. Well earned by Santa Barbara. They really defended the perimeter, the 3-point shot. We're not going to give up a quality shot, and they came away with a win.
Hey, for more information, including upcoming schedules and events, log on to our website, csncalifornia.com. For Mark Wolfson, our producer, Director John Ward, and my partner, Stan Morrison, I'm Dave Benz, saying so long from Stockton, where the Tigers lose to UCSB by a final score of 56-53. Now let's get you to the hilltop. Barry Tompkins and Dan Belwamity standing by.
We welcome you back to San Francisco. We are at War Memorial Gym on the hilltop at the University of San Francisco. The house here